Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Welcome to the Kakamega edition of the Great Debaters Contest. We have the best debaters of this county gathered and ready to debate. I am your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyumbok. You have Butula boys going against Bishop Sulumeti girls, and the motion is citizen activism is an effective way of influencing change in African governments. Mariam, who is going to take the day?
As always, there's no way to tell, Austin. We'll let them answer that question. First proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Citizen activism is an effective way of influencing change in African government. A citizen is a person who has legal right to belong to a particular country. Activism is a state of being involved in something. Now, citizen activism, it is a state of involving a people of a certain country into all the activities that take place in the state. We have very many forms of activism. I know when most of you think of activism, the only thing that comes to your mind are riots and strikes. Now, examples of activism are like boycotts, demonstrations, strikes, riots, and gospelers. We also have examples of activists. I'm going to give you some examples, so as you're going to debate this thing out, you get to flow with me so that you understand it. Now, our first example is Patrick Okia Omutata. This is an activist who bases so much on injustices. He even goes ahead to lock some courtrooms. We have Wangari Maathai, all of us know Wangari Maathai. She was so much influenced with environmental issues, dealing with the environmental things. You remember when she was actually against the Times Tower being built in Uhuru Park, and it wasn't. Now, activism has affected us both positively in very many fields. We have socially, politically, and also economically. Citizen activism involves partaking of citizens in activities taking place in a nation, thus nation building. Once you recognize citizen activism in a country, it clearly spells out one thing, and this thing is called awareness. Whenever you see citizens acting towards something that is taking place, they're aware of what is taking place in their government. It therefore ensures accountability. Who would want to work in a messed up way, knowing well enough that he or she is risking their chances of whatever position they're holding? The government is also kept on toes. When the government is aware that the citizens are going to come up and show them that the citizens are going to come up and actually tell them that this and this is wrong, they're going to keep on toes. They're going to do something right. Now, why is activism very much in African countries? This is because, so far, it is the most effective way of reaching out to a government. Yes, we have so many ways of reaching out to them. We have protocol. We always ask for first help, second help. But at times, citizens get to be ignored. And this is why they come up to do such things. Now, citizens also do activism by criticizing whatever the government is doing wrong. They do this through the media. You see some people posting some things on Twitter. We have Facebook, and they're acted upon once the citizens undertake this. If a jiggle and another jiggle lead to a pop is going to lead to a boom. If I am a citizen and I feel like you're not doing something right, I don't have the capability of going straight to the government and tell them, sir, I didn't like this and this, and this and this is wrong. It is upon me to come up in the most able way that I can get it to come to you and tell you that you're doing something wrong. Whenever citizens are doing something like activism, it not only leads to riots, they can do it peacefully too. So whenever we're talking about citizen activism, we're not supposed to look at it as a way of causing strikes and riots. Thank you.
We have opposer number 1. Take the stage. You have 3 minutes.
If you want to be rich, don't fight poverty. Research on what the poor do and avoid it. Baraka Zablon, first opposer. Citizen activism is an effective way of influencing change in African governments. What is citizen activism? This is the act of an individual citizen or a group of citizens working to achieve socio-economic or political change. Instead of us going to the streets revolting, we need to encourage diplomacy. We need to see on ways to sit down and settle our issues peacefully. We need to adopt our think win-win attitude, which enables all parties to benefit. Let us look at an example of Kenya in 2007. People lost their lives as they were revolting against the election results. But peace only prevailed after the diplomat, Kofi Annan, came and diplomacy took its course. We achieved peace. Secondly, We need to uphold civic education. People in Africa vote according to tribal lines and popularity. We need to educate these people so that they vote for leaders according to the content of their character. Let us take an example of Liberia. Sirleaf Helen Johnson was not voted in because she was a woman. It is because of her leadership qualities that made her to become the president of Liberia. And you can look at Liberia, it's benefiting. Liberia is one of the greatest countries in Africa right now. Moreover, we need to enhance democracy. Democracy is the rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. Many countries try to taint the democracy in their countries by interfering with elections. Take a look at our GDP right now. Kenya, we are doing at 41%. Tanzania is doing at 57%. Where are we heading to? With this kind, if somebody comes and tells us that Okiya Omtata is an activist, Okiya Omtata is a person who will say something and after some time he goes down. Is that activism? How has he helped? If he has educated us something wrong, then he surfaces off. Has he helped the society? No. So instead of us wasting time and going to revolt on the roads, demonstrations and such stuff, we need to look at other issues that will lead us to good governance in Africa. That's diplomacy, civic education, and democracy. I rest my case.
Time for cross-examinations. May we have proposer number 2 take the stage.
You talk about diplomacy. How many times have we been silent? How many times have teachers gone to the offices of the Remuneration Commission waiting for a reply and they don't? So the best way is to come out at large. If you push me to a wall, I'll have to bounce back. That's why citizen activism is an effective way of influencing change in African governments. Take a look at this. Citizens taking part in public debates. I love them. Jadala in Radio Citizen, hosted by Francis Luchivia. He quotes something from the government, he brings it to the people, he wants the people to make their comments about it. After this, he takes them back to the government through the media houses and the debate on it. If it's good, it's taken in. If it's bad, it's left out. Look up at Libya. The other year, they had a televised program in which the citizens, by the help of the journalists and political analysts and people specialized in different economic, social, and religious matters came in. And a big change is they found a result to terrorism, which has been a very big effect in their government. They came in with new ways, of which they educated people that people from the opponents are not terrorists as it had been before. Now people have a different perspective towards terrorism. That's an effective change because the opponents and the majority rulers will have a common goal and forget the differences about terrorism. Something else, we have coups that have taken place in Africa since time immemorial. For example, in Congo, we had a coup 5 days barely after independence. Why is it this way? It is because the leader who had been elected before was not doing what he had promised, and citizens had to come in with the help of the military. They had a mutiny, of which they didn't get something that the government was saying. With this, they brought out the president by then, Joseph Kasavabu, and when the new leader came, Mobutu Sese, he came with the reforms. What are the reforms going to do? He came with reforms in the government. First, he united the fragile government together by one party. So they were one thing, one party. Democracy is a rule for the people, by the people. Citizen activism is the most effective way of influencing change in Africa.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to make your rebuttal.
Change is not by fighting reality. Change is by creating a new model that will make the new reality desolate. I am Muga Brian from Butler School, second opposer. I'd like to counteract my proposal and tell you like this. Congo had not taken arms to fight the government because of activism. They went out to the bushes because there was inequality. They went to the bushes because there was inequality in Congo. And another thing, you said that citizen activism failed in 1992. Why should we implement it? On to my first point. I'm saying this. Citizen activism, it is not the right thing that we should not be taking it as a road to go. We should be looking at other things like clarity in responsibility. We should have clarity and responsibility in our governments. Our government has lacked responsibility. Take, for example, the government of Jacob Zuma in South Africa. Jacob Zuma in South Africa never took took to the arms that the mining at which waters run, the miners were not being paid well. And he said, what can I do? This made the miners go out to the roads, riot, boycotts. And this led to the Makarasa massacre in 2012, whereby the miners were killed in Witwatersrand highways. Is that the fruits of activism? Is that it? Another thing, we get that we should provide equity in our nations. We should provide equity so that we can have development. Not just activism going to the roads to injure ourselves. Not going to the roads so that to bring out conflicts. Not writing so that we intimidate others. We should put it on a fair table. Take for example in Egypt. Egypt we had Mohamed Morsi who was taken out of power. Because of nepotism. What brought the conflict? Because of nepotism. If we had equality, we could not be having these issues. If we had equality among us, we could not be having these issues. Another thing, there should be clarity in our roles in the government. That is this mismanagement of funds. There should be well management of funds in the governments of Africa. If we manage funds well in Africa, will be there a need for us to go to the roads? Will be there a need to write poems and articles to intimidate our governments? Will it be there? Tell us. And I'm telling you this. Kenya runs at a corruption of 300 billion, losing it from the economy. And that is inflation, my friends. If we continue getting underdeveloped because of that, are we going to the right direction? Are we moving to the right direction as the governments of Africa? Government of Africa doesn't mean that we should rise, that you and me take our arms together to go to the road to them so that they can see that it is important for us to look forward to what we want. There is sitting on the table. There is implementing good ways in the governance. There is other things that we can do more than activism. So I like to quote Mother Teresa as she says, when you're in the darkness, light your candle, I light mine, so that we can see and not complain of darkness. And if you think I'm in, I'm out. Thank you.
Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
I'll pick the words from the first opposer. He said, democracy is a rule for the people, by the people, and of the people. But can we say as Africans we have gotten to a point that we have full democracies in our countries? That's a question, food for thought. My question was, if we support the troubles brought about by citizen activists. No, we do not support the problems that are brought about. We do not support the death, the trouble, the destruction of property, and all that. But what we are saying is simply that when I want my rights, I need you to do this because this is what rightfully belongs to me. But for a long time you've been playing around with my mind. You haven't been giving me what I fully deserve. What do you expect me to do? I can't just keep on working for you, yet I do not get the pay I deserve. How many times have we depended on these leaders that we choose, each and every time we choose leaders, for them to do the correct thing in their seats? But they've completely become disappointing us each and every time. Citizen activism ensures that these leaders are on their toes. It ensures that we have accountability in terms of leadership. For example, the Jubilee government, just the other day, they posted their social media handles and where we can get what they have done in the time that they were in leadership. If I am a citizen and I go to this site and I see a certain thing is not done, it will make me eager to see where did this money go? Another thing, citizen activism ensures that we have proper leaders. Just the other day, I was with my deputy principal and she showed me something that's very funny, but very sad at the same time. If a leader can stand before people and say, I have 3 daughters, of which all of them are girls. If a leader can stand in front of people and say, Yaliondwele sipite, then where are we heading to as a country? If these are continue to be posted on the social media handles and people get to see what type of leaders we have in the government, then we will be eager and will be careful so that the next time we will choose the right leaders. Citizen activism also ensures that the voices of the people are heard. For example, when the teachers went on strike, it's not that they do not enjoy what's happened. When the doctors go on strike, they do not enjoy being on the road where they hear people crying. While at the hospitals, we have voices of children at their ears. But I, as a person, I am working. I want to eat, I have to pay for my rent, I have to get transport from my home to that working place. Where do you expect me to get the money? And you are not paying me, you're not rightfully giving me what I deserve as a citizen of your country. What you're saying is that yes, we do have leaders, but citizen activism ensures that we have the right leaders and the government is on its toes and it is guiding us to the right direction. Without citizen activism, let me tell you, as Kenyans, as Africans and Kenyans, we wouldn't have the present and independence. Citizen activism is the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Gentlemen, you have 3 minutes to respond to the question.
Ex nihil, nihil fit cogito. These are the words of Rereskids when he said that we live in a sarcastic world where when you play underwater, you'll be accused of raising dust. Samuel Okoth, third opposer. Welcome to the world of answers. You asked me a clear evidence. In the year 2007, did you enjoy the post-election violence? It was a result of our activists who went to the streets saying that the elections were rigged. But you saw what it led. Thousands and thousands are now in the graves because of citizen activism. 1982 coup, it failed because they used citizen activism. Why should we implement it? When our teachers strike, they go on the roads. Why should they waste their time? And after all, they'll have to come back and sit down with the ministry in a dialogue and accept and come onto agreement. Then they'll go back to school. Citizen activism is not an effective way of influencing change in African governments. I want to say we should adopt transparency. Transparency is the comprehensive and clear legislation of funds with openly telling the nation where and how the resources are being used. In the land of Pace Des Mille Collines, the land of 1,000 hills, commonly known as Rwanda, Paul Kagame was chosen because he was transparent and he led to the stop of the fight between Hutu and Tutsi in 1994. A parliamentary committee revealed that in the 2013 elections were rigged. Citizen activists tried to do that. People tried on the roads, but no, it did not lead. When they went to the court and the parliament, it was revealed that 2013, the elections had some mishap. I want to tell you, we should adopt accountability, because when you are accountable, we will be able to control the administration. The Angola's president, Eduardo dos Santos, if he was able to account for the barrels of oil in the country that led the country to a mishap, citizen activists tried to oppose him, but no, they could not. It was until US came down in a dialogue. So we should adopt accountability. I want to tell you that African government can only be influenced in change by devolution of power. A group of researchers from Yale University have been in the country. Maybe some of you have seen some white wazungus in the villages. They are researching on the devolution. Kenya was made devolved in 2013. And they have said that the merits are more than the demerits. Not citizen activism. Citizen activism. Do you want to tell me that the uprising in Libya in 2011 that led to the killing of Muhammad Gaddafi, did that influence change in African governance? No. The economy of Libya now is in tatters. So we should not adopt citizen activism. It is not an effective way. I want to tell us we should adopt socialism. Great writers like Ngugi wa Thiong'o in his book Decolonizing the Brain, when he realized that citizen activism is not an effective way, he said that we should adopt socialism. Xing Shang of Japanese, he wrote The Brightness of Japan. He realized that citizen activism cannot help to solve and influence change in their continent. So he said that we should adopt socialism. The goodness embraced, they don't uphold citizen activism.
Final submissions now. Bishop Sulumeti, you have 1 minute.
The African Charter of Popular Participation in Development and Transformation holds that absence of democracy is the principal reason for the persistent development changes facing Africa. Change is not by fighting. We are not fighting change. We just try to change it whenever it is not effective on our part. And why are we basing so much on fights? I think I gave out so many examples of activism. I even talked of the media. Again, need I remind you that whatever leads to citizen activism is because of failure of all the things you've just stated. It is my future. Should we bargain on it? Should they let evil reign just because I want to be civilized? Yes, we're not living in the Ramapithical eras, but human beings also have a level of persistence. How many times have we chosen leaders and we still have activism? Whenever I go to the ballot, I'm not going to there choose a pathetic leader. I believe that this leader is the right one for me. So should I ask this? Yes, I'm asking you this question. Why is it that even after choosing them, we still have this activism? Citizen activism is the right way. It is the way to go. There's no need for us arguing about it. It's just a fact. And again, even if I was to come and ask you, if you were to be served porridge for breakfast, lunch, and supper, and you try telling it to your school principal and they refuse, I'm sure you strike.
Butula boys, you also have 1 minute.
I'm in pain. I'm in pain because of citizen activism. When teachers were violating, they want salary. Someone passed by the road and hit me. Is this what you want to turn Africa into? Do you want us to get injured? Do you want to get injured as our proposers? Do you want to get injured as our audience? No. Citizen activism is not a way of influencing change in Africa. Cogito, ego zoom. We think, therefore we are. We have given you things to embrace. Let us embrace transparency. Feel for me. I feel the pain. I'm in deep sorrow because of citizen activism. You want the whole of Africa to turn into this? You want all of us to turn into pain? No, please, let us not adopt citizen activism. It is not a way of influencing change in Africa. Thank you. I resume my seat.
Bishop Sulumeti, Acheng, the first impression that I had of you is that you're a very good speaker, a good definition of terms, good submissions, like the government, like keeping the government on toes and the likes, and that was commendable of you as a first speaker for your team. Agiso, good speaker as well, very confident. I think you also took the stage in a way that still put the pace that Acheng had placed at par. Good local examples and even African examples. I love the example of Congo and the likes. Princess, that was a very fair way of question tackling. It was quite a tough question. Good grammar, good ending as well for your team. Butula, Zablon, good speaker, good start for your team. That was commendable. I think there was a quote that he gave that I like it. If you want to avoid poverty, research on what the poor do and avoid it. Now, that was a good one. I took that for the day. Maga, good speaker. You gave a statement that Morsi was accosted because of nepotism. That could be a fact, so you want to give the source, all right? Okoth, I think you took the day. That was a good angle when you started off. Transparency, accountability, that was a good start as well for your team. Very good examples, the Libyan examples and everything else. And you're actually the one who took us around the globe with examples. And then the ending, that was a bomb. I think you took the day out of that. So congratulations to both teams. Sometimes they say a dying horse will clutch at a straw. All the best.
Bishop Sulumeti girls, the judges awarded you 73%. Please give them a round of applause. Butula School, the judges awarded you 74%. You're our winners for the debate.
Clearly a tough one there. It's very evident that both teams put in a lot of work and were matched evenly. Thank you to the studio audience and those of you at home for watching. Remember to give us your feedback on the hashtag GDC for SDGs. I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.